I wanna hear the one about the big old plum tree. I wanna hear the one about the giggly bumblebee. I wanna hear the one about the juggling jumping flea. That's the story that I wanna hear. That's the story, that's the story, that's the story that I wanna hear. That's the story, that's the story, that's the story that I wanna hear.
Hello and welcome to the show. Today we're going to have stories, we're going to have a song. Sit tight, there's a lot going on today. Let's kick it off with a story.
Full stop always had the last word. It kind of made comma just a little bit jealous. But comma got over it. Someone had to have the last word. The only time full stop didn't get the last word was when exclamation mark butted in.
Hello, yes, it's me everybody, hello.
One other punctuation mark sometimes got the last word in too. Do you know which other punctuation mark got the last word in? That's right, the question mark. Exclamation mark would always talk just a little too loud. And as for speech marks, nobody could say a word without them being involved.
Why do you always have to be involved?
Complained question mark.
I think you should just go away.
Complained exclamation mark. And the speech marks, surprisingly enough, said absolutely nothing. This annoyed exclamation mark, drove question mark insane, and full stop didn't like it at all. Semicolon and colon, ellipsis, yes, the good old ... dots even got involved. Comma, hyphen, dash, parenthesis, even brackets joined in. Apostrophe, they all decided to go on strike until speech marks would jolly well stop butting in on their conversations. Well, things got carried away and nothing was really that easy to understand, and no one stopped talking and there was no break in the conversation, so everyone talked over each other and no one knew where one person stopped and another person began. It was a complete catastrophe until exclamation mark put a stop to it all.
Be quiet! We're sorry, speech marks. Please join us again. We've decided we can't live without you.
Speech marks said absolutely nothing, but bowed their curly bits and nodded in agreement, and all was well in the land of punctuation. You see, it's all about teamwork. While one person can be good at one thing, another can be good at something completely different. And while you may not understand what it is they do, it may have quite the effect on the way you do things.
Each to their own,
Decided parenthesis.
Absolutely!
Yelled exclamation mark.
What other way can there be?
Added question mark.
And that's the end of that.
Announced full stop. And that was indeed the end of that.
In a few moments, we have a little game called Who Am I? It's where we give you some clues, and from those clues, you've got to try and guess who it is we're talking about. That's coming up in just a moment.
Why has a pin got a head? Why does a needle have an eye? And how can a saw have a tooth? Why, oh, why, oh, why? How can fish have fingers? Why is a cow's poo called a pat? If a bed's got a foot, why can't it run? Has anyone ever thought of that? Builders have nails that they nail all day, and a nail that they nail in a painful kind of way. The river's got a mouth, you put clothes in a chest, with shiny black shoes and your Sunday best. A volcano has a lip, hot milk can have a skin, but what would you think if a mountain had a shin? A chair has a back and legs as well. They're all stealing my body, and I'm going to tell.
So here come a whole lot of clues. From these clues, I want you to try and guess who it is we're talking about. Here come those clues.
What's his name? What's she called? I think I know who that is. Who could it be? Let's wait and see what the clues are to this quiz.
I was born on the 31st of July, 1965 in England. I am an author and have written a famous series and am known all around the world. I have written a series which has been turned into a film. My most famous series has 7 books with a sequel. My real name is Joanne. Who am I?
What's his name? What's she called? I think I know who that is.
Did you guess who it was? If you're not sure, take down some notes. Use Google if you have to. Talk amongst your friends. You could work as a team, you could work in couples, you could work as a whole classroom collectively. But in the meantime, let's have another story. Petra Samuel Davidson III was in her third week of a brand new job. Quite the high-powered, stressful job it was too, responsible for the lives of many, keeping an eagle eye on hundreds of people's well-being on a daily basis. Yes, being a zebra crossing warden at her primary school was a responsibility only given to those that embrace the position and take it very seriously. But it did come with the odd giggle. Every morning at the crack of way too early, she got up and rushed off to school to start her job. High-vis pink waistcoat on, giant lollipop in hand, she was ready for whatever the morning would throw at her. "Check! Cross now!" was pretty much all she ever said of a morning, and it was pretty much the same in the afternoon. Can't have conversations with school friends distracting you from the serious business of crossing patrol. This morning was like any other morning. At 8:05, she was in position, lollipop in hand, and just like clockwork, the strange old lady with the mask on arrived. She rode a bike to where Petra Samuel Davidson III had no idea, but there she was, just like every other morning, waiting at the lights, in her white hazardous material suit on, a mask over her mouth, a hand-painted bicycle helmet, and the words, "Watch this space," scribbled on. A big pair of sunglasses, and I mean a really big pair of sunglasses, and a really big rickety old bicycle, painted in just about every single colour under the sun. Oh yes, and she mumbled to herself continuously, but only mumbled. Never anything that could be made out or understood by Petra Samuel Davidson III. "Check! Cross now!" And the strange old lady with the mask was gone. At exactly 8:10 every morning, two men would arrive, always arguing, always talking in a very animated way, waving their hands, pointing at each other, looking like they were disagreeing with each other with great passion, almost looking like sworn enemies, arms waving in the air, spit flying from their mouths as they tried to get their own point of view across. Of course, Petra Samuel Davidson III had no idea what it was they were always arguing about, as they spoke in a language that was not of her own, but argue they did, every single day at 8:10. Until the crossing light went green and Petra Samuel Davidson III would repeat the line, "Check! Cross now!" And the two men would shake each other's hands and offer each other a warm and friendly smile, say their goodbyes, and only one would cross while the other would carry on walking down the road. Petra Samuel Davidson III always thought this was an odd exchange, but she never let it distract her from her job. At 8:17 every morning she was confronted by a rather peculiar sight. Same time every single morning, 8:17 on the button, you could set your watch by it. A golden Labrador, yes, a dog with no owner, would walk up to the crossing and stop behind Petra Samuel Davidson III's lollipop and do nothing. Just sat and waited. On a particularly hot day it might pant, but that was the only way this event changed from day to day. The crossing would sound off, "Check! Cross now!" The little man would turn green and the golden Labrador would stand up, look left, look right, then look left again and cross the road. Truly weird indeed. At 22.5 past 8, not a moment later, not a moment earlier, a man with a very bouncy ball around the size of a tennis ball would appear. He would bounce the ball and catch it, counting upwards every time he caught it. 375,627, 375,628, 375,629, 375,630. The crossing signal would go off. The little crossing man would turn green. Petra Samuel Davidson III would call out, "Check! Cross now!" And the odd man with the ball would cross the road, still bouncing his ball and counting. 365,631, 375,632. Petra Samuel Davidson III always wondered where the man's counting would end. The strangest thing of all happened each and every single day at exactly 8:30. A lovely woman, dressed beautifully, and her lovely young child, Harold, would come running up to the crossing just as Petra Samuel Davidson III was about to pack up and cross the road, ending her shift for the day, crying out, "Wait for us! Sorry, we're late!" and be the last people to cross the crossing, and Petra would follow them across the road, ending her shift. It wasn't that they were late every day that interested Petra Samuel Davidson III. It was that they were so exactly late every single day. So, that was that, until the 3 o'clock shift. Now, that was a completely different set of people with a completely different set of weird rituals and habits.
I'm Brooke, and these are some fun facts. In 2017, more people were killed by taking selfies than shark attacks.
One night while outside camping underneath a starry sky, we heard a bump, we heard a thump falling from somewhere way up high. Out in the dead of night we got a fright. Somebody was out there one night while outside camping underneath the stars. We heard a bump, we heard a thump out in the dead of night. We heard a bang, we heard a clang, and boy did it give us a fright. One night while outside camping underneath a starry sky, we thought we heard something that wasn't really there. We thought of monsters with big fangs and orangutans. We thought of alligators snapping their jaws. We thought of saber-toothed tigers and exotic ligers with big white teeth and big sharp pointing claws. We heard a peep, we heard a squeak out in the dead of night. We heard a hiss and we heard a roar. One night while outside camping underneath a starry sky, we thought we heard something that wasn't really there. One night while outside camping underneath a starry sky, we heard a bump, we heard a thump falling from somewhere way up high. But there was nothing, nobody, just you and just me. One night outside camping under the stars. What was that?
So, our last show of the term. I hope you had a great term. I hope you have a really cool school holiday. We'll catch up next term. Don't forget during the holidays, if you want a wee bit more of That's the Story, pop along to YouTube, to the That's the Story YouTube channel. If you can't find it, pop along to our Facebook page, the That's the Story Facebook page. You'll find a link there. Have a great holiday. Catch you next term. Bye.
That's the story that I wanna hear.